Able to see it. Okay. Okay. First of all, thank you, so much for inviting me to do this specific webinar or workshop on the analytics. And just to start up with, I just wanted to tell you one thing that even though Madam has already covered. So I was a student of Shiv Shankar sir in 2014 and 16 in Oxford College. And when sir asked me to do this analysis, I was even delighted. That's where I kind of accepted that. Yeah. So without wasting much time, I'll get started. And I just wanted to tell you one thing. So if there is any audio quality issue, or if there is any connectivity issue, please try to inform me then and there. And also, if you have any question, please unmute yourself and ask your question. And on top of that, you can also put a text message, right? And I will be asking. Question or taking your feedback once in 10 to 15 minutes, so that I will get a feel that it is going to be a two-way communication. Yeah. So are we good to go? Maybe I think
Yes.
please start responding. Yeah.
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
sorry for interruption. The participants will not get an option to talk. They can at least message it. That's all they can do.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they don't have option to talk. Thank you.
Okay. No problem.
And slideshow has to be put in the PPT has to be put in slideshow. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So there's I mean, due to certain constraint, I'll not be able to share my profile. Just to motivate your guys. So I've been in this industry for last 6 to 8 years. I started my analytics experience sometime in 2012. I worked on variant technology, and currently I'm working for GE, General Electric. That is the current company. And as Madam said that I have my computer science degree. I have also have MBA in dual specialization, marketing and finance. On top of that, guys, this is for just you to motivate. The learning will never end. I'm also doing my MTech degree with PS University in data science and machine learning, just to make sure that I'm always aligned with the industry. Yeah, you can also plan right after your MBA. With this, guys, let's get started. Yeah. So the agenda, what we're going to talk now is data analytics. That is something which you already know that. Yeah. So this is the broad area which I will be talking. One is what is the data analysis all about, and the application. Why today people are talking about the data analysis, right? Every college, every organization, right? They're talking about data analytics, and what is the reason behind it, and what is the some of the key terminology, right? I wanted to talk about this terminology in the beginning so that you can connect the topic as we move forward. Then what is the various types of analytics, and also the tools and technology, and we'll do one or two exercise in the Excel, right? So what I expect from you guys is in next 1 hour, one and a half hour, what I will be talking. Uh, if you get the concept right, which means the session is going to be it. Because so analytics is something very big area, very vast area, right? To try to get the concept right, try to get the keyword right, right? If you have any question which you are not able to answer now, yeah, we can definitely talk offline. I'll be sharing my personal line with each one of you. You can definitely contact after the session, right? Yeah, let's get started. Yeah. So we're talking about data analytics today. So what is this data analytics all about? Yeah. So data analytics is all about systematic process of analyzing the data. So what we do is we say the data is something called structured data and unstructured data, right? That's where we say we also need to clean up the data. So once we clean up the data, we transform the data into a format which we want. Then we start modeling the data. So what is the reason behind it? We want to understand what is the pattern behind this. What is the pattern? What is the insight behind this? So that we can solve specific business problem, or we can take a decision. So for example, right? So I'm just going to give you certain example. So for example, today people are talking about Corona, right? If you guys follow up the news very carefully, so end of September and October, some expert were telling that, so India will hit the peak time. So India will hit the peak time end of September and October, then it will start declining it. So over they saying it. So what they do is they will collect the past data. They'll do some amount of cleanup. They'll transform the data. So then they'll go do a modeling. So that will actually tell you the pattern. When I talk about insight, what is the data which is actually talking about? Right? In the corona example, what I just quoted now, right? So they're telling with the the past collected data or their experience, they're telling that by end of September or October, India is going to hit a peak time. So that's what the insight what we're talking about, right? It's not about collecting the data. It's about what is the uh, insight. What is that the data is all about talking, right? That's what we're actually seeing it out. And uh, one quick check here, guys. I can see people are raising the hand. What does it mean? Anyone can confirm? I see Nagavani ji has raised the hand. Abzal sir, what does it mean? They have something to say, or they have text message? Hello.
Yes, Mr. Kumar.
So I can see some people are raising the hand. I'm getting a notification that are raising their hand.
No
What
problem,
does it?
sir. I think they are joining first time.
Okay.
Okay, so might be they are pressing that button. You
Okay.
can ignore it.
Okay. I
If there
was
is any
get
question, they
yeah.
will put it in the message box. We'll come back to you.
Okay. So I was getting a feel that they have something to check. Okay. So that's the one.
No.
And second thing
Nothing,
is,
nothing, sir.
yeah, just to give more example, right? In that in the context of marketing, so you name any area today, so you will find your analytics applicable over there. Any area for that matter. So if you pick up marketing, right, what we want to do is, we do something called customer acquisition. So what does it mean, right? What customer acquisition means, how best we can attract a customer, right? Based on their demographic area, right? I think you would have studied something called demographic area. We talk about their, age, the background, their academics, their earning pattern. So based on that, we do something called the cluster analysis that will help us to, figure out, who is the right potential customer for us, right? For example, if you see any mobile, right? When before launching any mobile, what marketer will do is they will actually cluster they will actually create a group. I think what we call it as a segmentation in that context. To do that problem, what we do in the data analysis side, we do a cluster analysis. So this cluster analysis will help us to group the people based on the various demographic characteristics. Then we'll start targeting them. On the other side, what we see is a sales volume prediction, right? You guys might have heard about that so Maruti Suzuki is going to expected to see 10% increase in their sales in this particular region, be it whether India or some other countries, right? If you talk of follow up any of the automobile industries, what they do, so they'll start manufacturing based on what they see, right? So if you pick up current example, what's going on in the industry, right? So with this COVID-19 situation, the FMCG is not affected much because FMCG is something everybody needs it, right, on a day-to-day basis. But if you look at aviation industry, right, none of the airlines are not flying, right? You guys are with me? So what does it mean, right? Which means that people were able to anticipate my industry it's going to eat either positively or negatively. So with the data, what they do, they'll do all kind of analysis. So that's on the marketing side. What is the importance or importance of analytics or how we use analytics. And moving on to finance and banking, that's a very interesting topic. The finance and banking today. The reason could be right. Our Indian balance sheet is screwed up, right? None of the banks are doing well, right? They're not getting their loan back. So one of the classical example is. Can anyone one of you tell us what is the what is not going well with the Indian banking today? Maybe even the faculty can also answer. I can see Afzal sir, Reena, Chandan, just to make sure we're getting interactive session. For example, let me tell you that we always say that today, at least in current situation, Indian banking systems are not well because the people are not paying the loan, right? One of the superb class example is Vijay Mallya, right? He's supposed to pay 9,000 crore to an Indian banking, but he actually screwed up and he absconded that. So what we do, we build a something called credit risk model here. Just to I'm trying to relate, guys. How are we using analytics in the industry? That is the topic which I'm talking now. So we do something called credit risk model. So this model will help us. Who is the right guy to give a loan? Who is the right guy to give a credit card? right? So based on the lot of characteristics of the variable, especially just to tell you that their income is one important factor, and also a lot of other things, right? So what we do, we build something called credit risk model, which is one of the machine learning algorithm. So this will help us to classify to whom we can give the loan or whom we cannot give, right? So that is another application on the finance and banking side. And the e-commerce, right? So today everybody, right? Since we are not stepping out of the house because of COVID-19 situation, what we are doing is, we are ordering from the mobile, right? We are using our e-commerce platform, Flipkart, Amazon, right, to order something. So there is something called recommendation engine. So what does it mean is, I'm sure each one of you experienced that. So the recommendation engine says that the product which are bought together, which means what, if you have bought OnePlus 7 mobile, it will also suggest you that you can also buy a mobile case or an headset. So what does it mean? We can say the people who bought together, the items which are bought together, which means that, for example, you go to a grocery shop and you buy a milk. So along with milk, you also need a tea powder, right? You also need a sugar, right? What does it mean here? So out of all the people who bought milk in the past, how many people will also bought tea powder or sugar, right? So connecting it to a larger extent in the e-commerce platform, right? So the mobile is the one simplest and classical example. So the data will tell us how many you know out of how many people who bought mobile, they also bought a mobile case or the power bank, right? So this is what we call it as a recommendation engine, which means what, we tend to recommend people. So in the past, people have bought a mobile. For example, Abdul sir has bought an iPhone, and so there were a set of people who also bought power bank with this. You can also, start, if you want, you can also buy a power bank. So that's what we call it as a recommendation engine. So every time you get a notification that items bought together, it's nothing but a recommendation engine what is running in the back end, right? And the FMCG, right? FMCG, the market basket analysis. So market basket analysis is nothing but the set of product what we buy together. I just told you that milk and tea powder, right? So what is the various item which people will buy together? This is one of the superb running algorithm in the FMCG in the industry. Yeah. So the overall idea of this slide is to tell you what is the importance of analytics in the real time, or what is a various algorithm. So if you are not familiar with the words which are right side, right? For example, cluster analysis. This is the technical term in analytics. We have a name given the analytics, and credit risk model is also the name is a model name. It's a machine learning algorithm name, and also recommendation engine. Similarly, your market basket analysis is nothing but your, I will tell you your Bayes theorem, your probability, right? If you guys know that. Yeah. So are we good, guys? I just wanted to take your, opinion. Afzal sir, maybe you can unmute and talk. Are we clear with this
Yes, yes, you can
in
go.
terms of pace and also the clarity? Anything you want to
Yes,
add?
yes. No, Mr. Kumar, it is very clear.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah. So moving on to that, I wanted to, talk about some key terminology, what we use it in day-to-day basis. So dear student, my sincere request to you guys is get that terminology right. I'm telling you that, if you don't get your basics right, if you don't get the terminology right, you'll miss the larger picture. So for every word I'm telling you, I'm not referred any book. So the words which are there is actually based on my experience. The reason why I'm telling you this is, this will, when you read any article, when you read any book, this keyword will help you to know a better understanding. If you don't know the meaning of this keyword, it's very difficult to understand the larger picture. So again, I'm repeating it in the entire slide. If you get the concept right, if you get the keyword right, that is the super success of this session, right? So the first thing is the data, right? The data is nothing but the facts, which I don't want to emphasize much on. The data is nothing but the data are the facts, right? So we say this is a primary data and the secondary data, right? So the primary data is what we collected for the first time. Secondary data is what is already stored, right? You guys are doing your third semester project, right? For example, you're doing the customer survey or something, something else, where you are setting up some questionnaire, you're reaching out to a customer, you're doing a survey, and you're collecting the data. So that's what we call it as a primary data. and the secondary data is the data which is readily available. So I'm relating the secondary data, back to my e-commerce, right? E-commerce. So that will help you to connect the topic better, right? I'm telling the data which is available in the e-commerce platform or the database is the secondary data, right? What does it mean? Let's say we have 10 people. I have Afzal sir, I have Shankar sir, I think Reena madam and Chandan, right? So these people have bought some product which is iPhone. They also bought a power bank in the past. The data is already stored. Now I am a guy. I'm going to buy an iPhone, right? So based on the previous customer buying behavior, the model is suggesting me to buy a power bank, which means what here, the secondary data is the data which is already stored in the e-commerce platform, which is purchased by people, right? And people are using the same data, or a marketer or an analyst is using the same data to suggest to attract a new customer. That's what the secondary data. So inside secondary data is a data which is actually stored, right? We don't going to collect the fresh, the first time. Then we say variables, right? The variables are the columns. The variable, the reason the term variable, technical means that the value of this will vary. They keep on varying. And I'm sure you guys would have studied, these types: qualitative, variable or categorical, quantitative or numerical, right? You have your, statistics in the first semester, if I'm not wrong, and third semester you have your research methodology, right? If I get this, your subjects right. So you study this. So qualitative or categorical is nothing but, where we don't apply much of my mathematics, right? We don't apply, mathematics. For example, the the types of color, the gender, male or female, right? The category of product, right? We try to see a proportion. We try to see a, proportion as a kind of, overall ratio, but we don't know much of mathematics. On the other side, we talk about quantitative or numerical data, where we can do our mathematical operation. When I say mathematics, we can apply our basics, addition, multiplication. We can do our basic statistics, mean, mode, median. We can do a lot, right? It's a quantitative data. So don't think much about the variables. Get categorical is nothing but the categorical in nature, where we don't apply much of mathematics. Quantitative is something where we will apply mathematics. That's what you need to know. Then the data, I know, each one of you know what is the sample and what is the population. Sample is nothing but a small amount of data. Population is a larger picture, right? I'm telling you guys, in the reality today, we'll never get access to a population, right? We only deal with the sample data, right? So I'm going to connect the sample and population data in some time. You will understand this better. Why we cannot get population, or why we always go with the sample. So what is the use of, data science or analytics to take any decision on the sample data, which will be also applicable to population? You'll get that connectivity in somewhere. Then the biggest confusion is, a lot of people, always get confused, or they don't have understanding what is analytics or what is data analytics, what is business analytics, what is data science or machine learning. Guys, everything is remain same, guys. So depending on the, scope of the work, we use this word. So I would say data analysis, data analytics; business analysis, business analytics; data science, machine learning. Everything is same, right? The moment you say data analytics is just the, lighter word of the analytics, right? On the other side, if you say machine learning, right, it is very advanced, but fundamentally both are same. So we are going to analyze the data. We'll figure out what is the pattern in the data to figure out to solve specific, business problem, right? So for now, keep in your mind that, so data analytics, business analytics, data science, machine learning. If people say artificial intelligence, neural network, everything is same. Yeah. So then we have an important term, which is hypothesis testing. That is the very basics and fundamental for your research methodology. We will also talk about hypothesis testing at the end. So any doubts, any questions so far?
Yes, participants, if you have any question, you please put it in the chat box.
Yeah, cool. So I actually, don't wait for a long time. What happen? Other people will lose the interest. Yeah, but if you have a question, you can definitely put that in the chat window, or as I always say, you can drop me a note. I'm sure I'll definitely respond. Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I'll move on, right? So when we say analytics, as I just told you, it's about analyzing the data and figure out the pattern in the data, right? Figure out what is right behavior in the data, right? And to solve specific business problem, right? When I say business problem, I also told you we use credit risk model in the banking industry, right? We use cluster analysis in the marketing industry, right? So this is what some of the example. So what are the types of analytics? So the types of analytics are broadly classified into descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics, right? So let's understand each one of that. So when we say descriptive analytics, basically we're going to describe the data. We don't do very deep dive drill down here. What we do is basically we explore the data, right? We explore the data to understand how the data is behaving, right? For example, I know you have studied your mean, mode, median, correlation, covariance, right? We use some of this basic technology to do a descriptive analytics. Yeah. And what is predictive analytics? So predictive analytics is nothing but predicting from the data, right? So we are going to see what is the impact on the future. As I just told you, right? We collect the historical data in the banking industry, right? Just to tell you some of the important variable, as I told you, the profession, right? What is the profession? Is a government employee or a private employee or a college professor? What is the earning, right? What is the age, and how many dependencies having it, right? How many existing loans is having it? So we use all this data, right? And we build a model, right? We build a model, then we'll come up with a final scoring rate. So anybody who scores more than 70 is eligible to get a loan. Anybody who scores less than 70, so is going to be the chances of paying loan is very less, which means we don't approve him a credit card, right? So in short, descriptive analytics is nothing but exploring the data, right? Understand what the data is, right? What is missing or what is not missing, right? So predictive analytics is nothing but predicting the future. Okay, okay. After the descriptive analytics, okay, that's how it goes. And next one is prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive analytics is nothing but a recommendation, right? You predicted something, now you want to implement, right? We want to recommend out of this. So which means what, right? So I told you the corona case, COVID-19 cases, the experts suggested that end of September or in October, India will reach the peak time, right? Which means what, we will be seeing many COVID-19 affected patient in India, right? So that is what we actually predicted. Now the question is, okay, what is it we are recommending out of that? We are recommending that to the government. You guys make sure the beds are available for the patient, right? So that is what we call it as a prescriptive analytics. What is it we are going to recommend, right? So we're recommending something out of the predictive analytics, right? The recommendation suggestion part is nothing but a predictive prescriptive analytics. Yeah. So just to give you one more example, and this is something what the politician will do, right? So we have our great prime minister who is doing well for the country, Narendra Modi. But is he intelligent enough to take all the decision? Definitely not, right? So you would have a lot of people working for him, lot of highly educated people. I would say IIM for that matter, right? And also if you come down to Karnataka, DK Shivakumar is another guy, where a lot of good people, the smart people working for him. What they do is during the election time, people will collect the data, or people will see how the pattern in the data, which means on what basis people are voting it, what, right? So then they'll start recommending, right? They'll start recommending it to the political leader or a party, right? So accordingly, they'll frame the strategy, right, guys? So insert descriptive analytics is nothing but exploring the data as it is, right? Predictive analytics is predicting something from the data, and prescriptive analytics is after you predicting, we are recommending something to take action. Yeah. So that's what the prescriptive analytics all about, right? If you someone says analytics, so if I analyze the data, I should be doing all these things. That's what is all about. Yeah. So I would move on to a next one, right? So I'm always talking about the data. So where does the data comes from, right? So for now, I'm limiting my scope to a secondary data, which means what, the data which is readily available, so that I can easily connect that dot. The primary data, which is something we already doing that, right? You were as part of your project, right? So just have that primary data you're collecting, freshly, which is not available somewhere. Secondary data is already available. Now I'm going to talk about the case that, okay, so how do you deal with the data, right? So let's go back and connect this, e-commerce, right? Uh, oh, e-commerce platform, right? Every time we buy we log into a e-commerce, right? And we start buying a product, right? Or we click on a product multiple times, which means that we are interested, but whatever the reason we're stopping it. Every time we do that, the data is getting collected, right? So where this data will store, the biggest question would be. So analysis is the next part of it. But where are we storing all this data, right? So we store this data in a data warehouse. That is the general term, right? So some of the data warehouse are MySQL and Oracle. I think there is a wrong terminology here. Uh, Let me get rid of this. The hypothesis testing shouldn't have come here. Okay, so I'll just correct that. It's a typo from my end. Okay, so there was a typo. Sorry about that. What we do is we store the data. I mean, there are a lot of other databases, but I'm currently putting my SQL and Oracle so that we can easily connect. On top of that, we are also saying cloud computing, right? So cloud is another place where we actually store the data, right? Today we are talking about cloud computing. So I would say, just try to relate to what you know. See, we have an Excel, right? I'm sure you guys are using Excel today to do data analysis. But other side we have these databases, MySQL and Oracle, right? Then we also have a cloud. So the biggest advantage or benefits is in Excel you can store only limited data, and accessibility is very biggest challenge, right? But if it's a cloud, it is very well protected. Okay, we can store so much of data. I would say use data. There's no limitation for it, right? We also have MySQL and Oracle. So we can store huge amount of data here, but compared to cloud, there is a limitation, especially when you start analyzing the data, right? So for now, what you need to get here is the data will be stored in data warehousing. It could be a database like MySQL or Oracle, or it could be a cloud. That's what you need to know from here. So in short, so you treat this MySQL Oracle, if you don't have the background, as an Excel sheet. Excel is the place where you're storing the data. That's what you need to know from the first portion. Now what we do, we're talking about the analysis part, right? So assuming that we have the data ready in data warehousing, be it MySQL, Oracle, or what is that called, cloud, we start, as analyzing the data. So what is the various tools, technology we use to do an analysis, right? How the industry has changed, right? So, we classify this as a visualization tool, basic analysis, or advanced analytics. And guys, this is my own terminology. So if you refer, any book, nobody will say, SPSS is a, basic analysis. Nobody will say that. So just for the, better connectivity of the topic and application of the topic, that is something which I classified. So this is not written in any of the book, or it is not available in the interview. I mean, basically the classification side, right? So when we have the data, we're trying to visualize the data, right? That's the first thing. When I say visualization, it's nothing but your descriptive analytics. Okay, so we use Excel, right? So in the Excel, I'm sure everyone would have used your something called pie chart to know the ratio, to know the contribution, right? So we use Excel as a visualization tool. We also use a Tableau. We use a Power BI and ClickSense, right? So we moved from Excel to Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense because these guys are driving the market, right? Because there is a lot of so much of benefit compared to Excel. We cannot even compare the benefit what is available in Tableau or Power BI, ClickSense. We cannot even compare with the Excel, right? Maybe you can start explore that. Just for now, no. There is something called visualization tool, which is Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense. You can also say Excel. Then I would say basic analysis. I would, again, I'm repeating it. I would not say basic analysis. You can treat this as analysis tool because I'm comparing Minitab spaces with the Python and R. So I had to use this word. Outside of that, Minitab and spaces even today are the analytical tool, right? So using Excel also we can do analysis. and also Minitab and spaces. And today, most of the academics, right, people will use the spaces. Before that, it was Minitab, right? So the one of the main drawback with the spaces is it only works for a ready data. The data which is in structured format, for example, right? I'll just show it to you some data. Yeah, just give me a second. I need to switch my window. So I hope you guys can see the Excel sheet. Sir, can you please confirm? Abdul sir, you can see the Excel.
No, we cannot see
Yeah.
the sheet now. Yeah, now we can see.
Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, this is what we call it as a structured data. It's a ready data, right? This data is ready to use. So the moment you start to use your SPSS or Minitab, we need data like this. It is in a tabular format, very well cleaned, right? But today in the market, right, we don't get the data in this format. For example, right, the movie reviews, right? If you pick up movie reviews, right, people will book a ticket in Book My Show. They'll start to putting their reviews, right? I'll write my reviews in my own language, someone else will write reviews in one language. What we do is the data will be unstructured format. So that is the case with e-commerce also, right? People will put their review, right? So what we do, we also analyze this review, right? So this is the unstructured data. We need to convert that unstructured data into structured data. So for that we use somebody called R or Python. Okay, right? I'll put that in. Yeah, I'll go back to the same slide. So we use R or Python. So outside of that, there is also a lot of other options available in Python and R. Today we are talking about the image classification, right? There is a lot of other things which we cannot be done in Minitab or spaces. That's why we are actually moving into Python and R, right? So outside of that, it's like continuous improvement. We were using Excel, move to Minitab, then the spaces. Now we are dealing with Python and R, right? So that's why I'm calling this Python and R as an advanced analysis technology. So and also this is the programming languages, right? So so why are we saying this is a programming language? I'm sure if you have done your engineering degree, you know this. But if you have commerce background, you might not be able to connect it well. But I'll tell it to you. So right, if you see this guy, the Sundar Pichai they're talking, always says that we want everyone to learn coding, because with coding guys, with programming we can do a lot of things. So I can write a code in the way where I can get the data in the format which I want, irrespective whatever the format. Which means what I've just told you about. We write reviews about the product, we write reviews about the movies, right? People will write their own language, but with the coding, I can convert the data into a format which I want, right? So Python and R, we have the flexibility to do a coding, right? It can deal with it has so many other features also. As I told you, image classification, neural network. So that is something which is not there in the Minitab and spaces. It is limited to a pure set of algorithms. Okay. So any doubts here, guys? This is the at broad level various tools and technology what we use in the industry. Yeah.
Yes, participants, if you have any doubts, you can post it. You can ping in chat box.
So where I can see the chat box, sir?
Down there is a chat next to the participants. You can see a chat. If you click that, you will see a chat box.
Okay, not sure. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So I would assume that yeah, I can see some here 3 chats. No doubts up to now. See it's very clear. Yeah. Thanks, Haripriya. I'll just look at your chats for some time. Okay. Okay. So I think Haripriya has responded. Thank you, Haripriya, for responding, and others also. Please start to respond so that I'll get a feel that you guys are getting connected to the topic. Yeah. Okay. So the next one would be, let me move on to next slide. So I'm going to show you, talk about I'll be doing some exercise in Excel. I will also show it to you what are the various graphs available, and I will it's 1 hour is too short to cover all this technology, but I will also tell you what is the various graphs available which you can use it, right? So this slide, and I don't know whether the this is very clear or not, but yesterday night I actually shared a link or a image with you. You can still look at your mobile for this one. See, when we say data analysis or data visualization, right? Right. So how to analyze the data or what to analyze the data. So no, I'll not cover everything, but I'll also tell you, some of the important things. How we can start looking into the data. And I'm sure you have already done some of this, right? See, See, we classify this as what is that we are trying to do. See, guys, when if you have the data, the first thing would be your objective should be very clear, right? You need to know, right, what is it you're going to do with the data or how to look at the data, right? So, are we going to look at the comparison, which means are we comparing two guys? For example, whether Apple iPhone is having a yes market share or it's having a OnePlus, right? Whether it is a this guy Narendra Modi is a famous political leader or a Rahul Gandhi, right? We're trying to compare two variables here. If the idea is to compare two variable, we'll go with this kind of chart. Okay. Again, this can be further classified into whether are we dealing with two variables or three variables, right? And coming back to a composition, basically where we want to show a breakup, which means what? So we have our 6-7 subject in the semester, right? Let's say statistics. I would say I don't remember subject. Research methodology. The finance, right? Let's say organization behavior, right? We want to know. So what is the how many people have passed or how many people have failed or how many what is the proportion which people have scored. In that case, we actually look for a composition. And one more classical example would be the pie chart, right? Right. So as I always say that if you take this pie chart is something which is very common. Even if you watch media, people will actually see that out, right? Uh, to say, for example, if you I don't know how many of you are interested in politics. In the politics they always says that in Karnataka or in Mysore, so 60% of the people are female, 40% of the people are male, something of that chart, right? When we talk about the composition, we actually go for this particular chart. Then the relationship, right? So when we want to understand the relationship, when I say the moment we talk about relationship, we talk about two variables or more than three variables, right? We can keep changing it, right? So we go for something called scatter plot and also the bubble size graph. Maybe I'll be showing it to the scatter plot in some time, right? We want to understand the relationship. For example, just to give you an example, if you pick up your sales and advertisement, right? Let's say you're investing 30 rupees for an advertisement. What will be the impact on the sales, right? We want to understand the correlation. So we go for a scatter plot or a scatter bubble size graph. And that's the relationship, right? Then the distribution. So what is the distribution we are seeing it, right? That, for example, one classical case was for this distribution. I've been talking about the COVID-19 just to make sure you guys are getting connected well for the topic, right? So I said it started somewhere, right? I think sometime in February, March, we were at 1 or 2 cases. Then it started increasing. It may also go down, right? So we want to see the distribution, right? We go for this specific chart. So you use this chart as your cheat sheet, right? And start exploring it. If you get the center block right? Composition, comparison, distribution, and relationship. Rest you can actually pick it up from a Google, right? That will also guide you. So this will tell you what to which chart to use in which specific cases. Yeah. Cool. I'll be showing you some of the graphs at the end. Okay. Just for now, just remember this chart. There's something called this, data visualization chart. And if you don't know, which chart to use when, you can come back and refer this here. Okay. That's what the key takeaway from this particular, page. So then, yeah, I think. So do you have any doubt, guys? I'm going to show you some example in Excel. So maybe you can start responding if you have any doubts, anything you want me to recollect. So are we good to go, sir? Abdul sir?
Yes, yes. You can,
Any
you can
topic you
go
want me
ahead.
to revisit? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
Mr.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So what I do, I have some data. Okay, I'm going to show you how we analyze the data with that. Yeah. So let's start with this. Okay. So how many of you guys know something called pivot table in Excel? If you have done some Excel courses, you might be knowing it. If not, maybe just remember this word called pivot table. And the purpose of pivot table is to summarize the data, right? So if you have the data like this, the pivot table will help you to summarize, right? To help you to summarize the data. So this data, guys, the reason why I picked up this data is, so if you want to learn Tableau, I remember I met one of your guy, I think Arvind. Arvind, he met me once. I told him you can, start to pick up Tableau in the beginning if you're interested with analytics. And also there was one more girl which I forgot the name. So this data, guys, this data is a superb data to learn visualization tool, which means what I told you, showed you sometime back. In the visualization tool, we have Excel, Tableau, Power BI, and ClickSense, right? And Tableau is the market driver now. So this data is used in and out in the in the Tableau training, the online training. So if you know the data, you can start to learn Tableau. Okay. So this data is, for example, when you have the data, the first thing would be, what is this data all about? That's what we need to know. So this data is basically, one of the superstore data. One of the superstore data, right? So which they have collected. So we have the sales details here, right? So let me show you some of the important column here for now. So the customer name, who is our customer? The first thing, right? So you will be doing the same thing when you get the data. Remember, you will be doing the same, same thing. I'm also identifying the segment, right? We need an A-level classification, right? Then the country is United States, may not be interested. State and city, we may need that. Then also the region. Then the category. If you look at here, this particular superstore contains furniture, office supplies, and technology. Yeah. Then the subcategory. So the subcategories within the category. If we pick up furniture, what I can see here is bookcases, chairs, furnishing, and tables. Uh, Guess one thing. If you see any lag, because I'm working on Excel now, so there could be a slight lag. What I speak and what I do. Okay, please let me know so that I can bring down the pace. Okay, so currently what I'm trying to do is I have the Excel data with me. I'm trying to figure out important column, and that is the first thing what you need to do when you have the data. Okay, so then we have our sales, we have our quantity, and we have our discount and the profit. So I will classify these four, right, for you. I'll be sharing this Excel sheet with you. This into a numerical variable, right? I actually told you numerical or quantitative variable, right? So then if remaining, I will classify this as a categorical variable. Right now, I would start to analyze the data. What I do is I would use something called pivot table just to get the what is the data all about, just to get the feel of the data, right? So for now you don't have to know how to create a pivot table. If you know, that's well and good. If not, it's pretty easy. You can spend some time with the YouTube and Google. You'll get to know that. So I'm selecting this data, right? I'm going to insert. I'm saying pivot table, right? So it is telling me where I want pivot table, whether I want it in a new worksheet or an existing worksheet. I want this in a new worksheet. Right? Guys, the pivot table is the very powerful features in the Excel. So right after your MBA, if you're applying for any data analysis job or any company which they're using Excel, okay, you're expected to know pivot table. Or if you tell them you know pivot table, that is actually an additional skill for you. Yeah. So learn Excel, learn pivot table. We can do a lot of with this. So in the pivot table, we have four sections here: filters, columns, rows, and values. Right. So the biggest question in the data analysis is what to put. Right. So the filters is nothing but where we want to analyze the data at a different level. For example, I want to analyze the data at a different category. Let's say different country. I have my India data, US data, right? I want to analyze one at a time. I'm going to put it over there. For now, what I can do, maybe I can put my segment here, right? So just to show it to you, so these are the four segment what we have it: consumer, corporate, office, corporate, and home supplies, right? Or let me put it here, okay? I'll put segment for now, right? So then I'm bringing my overall sales here. I want to know the sales, right? You can see, right? Now what I can do here, right? I can actually create a quick, see this is giving me this pivot table in chart. So what is the total sales by consumer, right? Which means by segment, which means what? If I simply format it, I can see, right? So the overall, right? I'm doing a quick simple math here just to know the percentage. Say 50% of the sales is coming from the consumer segment for me, right? And the corporate. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I need to fix something with a pivot table. I'll right away do that. Yeah, I'm just calculating the weightage, right? Like how we do it in statistics or in a pulse subject. I'm just calculating the weightage. Yeah. So I'm getting 51% from the consumer. This is the insight, right? I just have my data. This is the insight which I just generated using data analysis, right? 51% of the sales which is happening in consumer segment, and second one is the corporate, then the home supplies. Now, what is the recommendation here? So if my target is to get 50% from consumer, if I want to sell 50% of the consumer product, I'm already good, right? I'm actually good, right? But if the overall idea would be to sell a corporate product, more than a 40%, I'm saying the target is 40%, right? I'm going to put some target for you guys. Let's say 40. Let's say this is 50. I would put that, right? This I would put 40. This I would say 10%. This is the target. So in the corporate section, I'm not doing well, right? In the corporate segment. So my target is 40%, but currently I'm operating at a 31%, which means I need to see what is wrong with this, right? As a business leader, I need to take my call. I need to dig deep into the data and figure out why the corporate segment is not doing well, right? On the other side, home office is doing well, right? Which means what? For me, the biggest area would be right this area, right? If I want to capture the market more, if I want to compete with my competitor, right? I'll or if I want to increase my the market share at a profit, right? I'll be focusing on the corporate because remaining two segment I'm already doing well, right? So what I quickly do now, I'm going to create a pivot table for this, right? Go insert, sorry, not pivot table, sorry, the pie chart, right? And you can also go back and design this the way you want. It's still loading up. No problem. Let's keep it here. Say add data labels. Yeah, right. Right. So now compared to the data, right? We have data in this format, right? Now, if someone tells you, I want to know the sales of a, office or a home, right? So you will have to come back in here and do your mathematics to get the data, right? To get the overall contribution. But with the pivot table and a chart, right? With the okay, it's very easily interpretable and also the very easy to do that. We can get the figure. We can get what is right, what is wrong, immediately, right? Right. So this is the impact of data analysis. Now what I would still do here is, guys, I'm going to dig deep into this one, right? I'll copy paste the same pivot table. So don't worry, I'll be sharing this Excel, right? So for me, as I always say that, get the concept right. Now what I do, I'm going to put this segment here, right? And I'm going to select my consumer, right? So then I'll bring back my, let's say, category. Right? Let me pick up what I would do is, so I'll go with this category and subcategory. Let me bring up let me see how the category is behaving. So we have 3 category here, right? If you go with the category, right? So in this 3 category, again, the technology is doing well. Other guys are not doing well, right? So this is the one more insight. For this one, I can also create a bar chart, right? Because I'm trying to compare something here. Okay. So you can quickly create your bar chart, right? So this is what the visualization which I was talking talking to you, right? So okay, nevertheless, we can still play around with this, but it's not happening now. Category. Now in this category, what I would do, I'll go back and see what is who is doing well, who is not doing well in the category, right? So I'll place this category here, and I'll pick up my subcategory. Okay, so I'll come back and select my category here. The technology is doing pretty well, right? So within technology, right? So the accessories, I think the phones, right? The phone is the highest contributor for me, right? So what I do, I can quickly come back and do one more chart, right? Right. Now, what people will do with this, right? What is the next step, right? From the data I figure out, the phones is doing well, right? The phone commodity is doing well, but others are not doing well, right? What they do is they'll inform the marketer, right? They'll tell the phones category is doing really well for me, but mechanics is not doing well. So they'll start framing a strategy. They'll see why it is not doing well. What is the loopholes? They'll start working on that to increase the sales. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So are you guys with me? Can you
Yes.
please confirm any one of you? So I'm just showing it to you how to do some sort of analysis with the data.
Okay.
Guys, are we
Some
good?
participants can reply. Okay, Haripriya has replied. Stephanie has replied.
Okay, perfect, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we left out with another 5 minutes. So I'll okay. So what I was trying to show you was we have the data and how I'm using pivot table are the graphs to do analysis to get the basic insight of this, right? Okay. So next one is I have one more data set with me which I just simulated. Guys, please answer. I'm sure there is a finance guys here. Okay. With this data, see, I'll tell you what is this data. So this is the return of these two companies. It's a simulated data. Don't may not be relevant data. So I am a TCS company and Infosys company, and I am an investor, right? I'm sure people would have picked up their finance in third sem now, right? So if I tell you, just tell me. Don't worry about right or wrong. Now I am in 2020 now, right? Now I want to invest my money. So which stock I will invest? Shall I go with the TCS or shall I go with an Infosys? Please reply, okay? Even one or two replies would also be fine. Just look at this number. See, you can tell me, based on two things. One thing would be based on your sentiment. So you always, like Infosys or you want to work for Infosys, you can pick up Infosys. That is a feelings, right? That's sentiment. But now we are talking about the data driven, right? And which stock you want to invest and why? Yeah, I'm actually look at your chat window. So you want, and also tell me why you guys want to go with that. So justify, right? Kavita RN said Infosys is a different opinion. Stephen TCS. Afin TCS, Aripriya TCS. So tell me the reason, guys. I can wait for you for 2 minutes. So even you can take your time and respond because I need a one comment, at least one comment why you want to go for it. Again, don't worry about right or wrong. Okay. So as I always said that I was a student, 2014. I know we sometimes we hesitate to share our thoughts. Kavita and Aripriya or Stephen, can you share why you want to go with that? What made you to go with that? Guys, are you typing something? So it's 11:28 now. I can wait for another 5 to 10 seconds. Yeah, TCS is very consulting firm, good firm in the market with a quality working environment. Good. Afreen, sorry, Fatima, right? Fatima, yeah. So any other comments, guys? I'm very happy that you are getting connected with the market and understanding what's going on. Very good. So TCS increase percentage, the way TCS is working. Increase percentage and the way TCS is working. Okay, good. Anybody for Infosys? Anyone? Not to worry, guys. Let's not make others wait. We'll see to it. TCS and trading company. Yeah. Thank you guys for replying. Okay. I'll tell you something about TCS in some time. Now, see, I don't know. I don't know which one to invest, but what I use my statistics. I use my data analytical skill to do that. Right? Okay. Cool. So, is there any one guy you want to invest in both, guys? Any one guy you want to invest in both? So, be honest, especially the finance guys. Okay. And if you say yes or no, you want to invest in both the stocks. Why you want one? You can also go for both, right? I'm still looking at your chat window, guys, waiting for your response. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now, okay, so I'm using my statistics to do that now. The first thing would be if I was at your place, okay, so I'll start to analyze the data. So how am I analyzing the data? Now I want to invest some amount of money. So let's say 1 lakh in 2020. The question would be how will I do that? Where will I invest? What I do, okay, this is the decision which I want to make. Investment in 2020, right? What I do, I use my statistical skill. I calculate something called average return. I calculate something called my standard deviation, right? I'm calculating average now, right? It is an average. The TCS is giving me 6%. The NP is giving me 8%, right? I will also look at my standard deviation. Okay, just to tell you that S stands for sample, P stands for population. Just remember this. Which is 0.10, 0.107, right? Now, anyone who want to change, I'm telling, Benson, right? Aripriya, Fatima, who said TCS. Guys, I'm telling you that the Infosys is giving 8% return. TCS is giving an approximate 6% return. Do you want to change your opinion? I'll give you 30 seconds time. Please respond. So, do you guys want to change your decision now based on the data? So last time I know you said based on your gut feelings and an experience, right? Now the Infosys is giving is 8%. Anyone who wants to change the decision? Guys, come on quickly. So I'm getting close to this.
Yes,
Okay.
participants.
Guys, you can respond. See, when Infosys is giving you 8%, let's say you'll get two offer after your MBA, where TCS is giving you 6 lakh and Infosys is giving you 8 lakh. Absolutely, will go with 8%, right? Or anyone who still want to stick to TCS, you can say yes or no. You can type TCS. Especially, I'm waiting for response from Benson, Aripriya, and Fatima, who responded before. If you guys respond, no, I'll be happy. You can type. You can know say TCS or Infosys. Just do that. Aripriya, you want to change your decision from TCS to Infosys? Okay, Fatima said that. No, see, you want to change because it's. No, I can assume that it is giving you a year return. Okay, perfect. See, this is how your data analysis will help you, right? So the data, this is how we use the data to take any decision, right? So yes, it's a good option, but the question would be, if you look at your standard deviation, right? The standard deviation is more. Standard deviation is more is nothing but your risk in the finance, guys. Remember, right? Your standard deviation is nothing but risk in the finance. It's not constant. So we have a standard deviation 0.103 in TCS and 0.107 in Infosys. You're getting my point. So
Hello.
hello, yeah.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. The your visual, sir, something is blocking the screen.
What about others, guys? You guys can currently I'm with an Excel sheet.
Yeah, no. Your video, whatever
Video,
it is,
sir.
something is blocking in the video.
I
The corner, sir.
In the camera, anything is kept next to the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
it's
was a
fine,
player.
sir.
There was a
It's
player.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Okay.
fine,
Cool,
sir.
cool. Okay, guys. Okay, yeah, got it. See, guys, you understand here, right? Some people are first thing we are statistically taking a decision which stock should I invest, but right, and at the same time, it's a good option, right? It is a let's go with 8%. But the another hidden insight here is the risk is very high. The standard deviation is nothing but a risk in your finance finance industry. Now, the key message here is, guys, there is nothing wrong in going with Infosys or nothing wrong with going TCS. But the key message here is, so we always say that, high risk, high return. If you want to expect your, high return, you should also be ready to, take high risk. That's what the key message here is, right? So if I was at your place, what I would do, I will, try to invest equally the money. And second thing would be, I can also look at my graphs. I'm going to show you the scatter plot, guys, right? The relationship, plot, right? Just to see how it is behaving. See? This is the first thing what I would do, right? What's going on here, right? So here is clearly the chart is clearly telling me, right? The blue color is TCS and the red color is Infosys. When TCS is down, the Infosys is up, right? That's what it's happening here. So these guys are inversely related. I can also check my correlation. Remember, right? I also said that correlation. I'm going to connect that in some time. It's going to be very interesting. I'm doing my correlation here. Select your correlation. I don't have to explain you the formula because I know you guys studied this correlation. Almost 0.84%, which means 84% of the time they are actually behaving each other, right? So if I was at your place, see, first thing, some of the key insight here is, so these guys are, negatively correlated, right? Which means when TCS goes up, the Infosys comes down. That's the first thing. And second key insight here is, Infosys is giving me 8%, right? But there is a high risk here. If you are a guy who will take high risk, right, then you can go for a Infosys. But if you're a guy with a moderate risk, you can go for a TCS. Right? That is the second message here. The third thing would be, I'm sure you guys know about portfolio, right? Portfolio, portfolio. What is portfolio, guys? You can reply me, right? The portfolio. The second term would be portfolio optimization, right? The portfolio is nothing but the basket of stock, right? If you go with your textbook theory, it's a basket of stocks, or you're holding more than one stock. If I was at your place, what I would do in COVID-19 situation when the market is not stable, I will try to invest in both, right? So if you invest, 50% and 50% in both, right? What I would do, I'll get at least 2% profit, at least 2% profit for sure. At least 1%, I think there is a round up. Yeah, if I see round it up to 1.167% profit, you can also do that. You can also optimize the portfolio, right? That's what I'll tell you. So in your finance theory, right, when you invite any of the finance advisor or I would say stockbroker, especially stockbroker, they will say you can make a lot of money in the stock market, right? On the other side of the story is people will lose the money, right? This is the common terminology. People are very greedy. A lot of people require patience. I'll tell you guys why people will lose the money today. People will lose the money today in stock market. Okay, the first thing would be they don't know how to optimize the portfolio. This is what they're losing it, right? If you know how to what's happening in the industry, how the various economical factor, the global factor is influencing my stocks, I think you can make a good amount of money, right? Okay, so this is some of the way we use the data analysis to take the call. Yeah, guys. So any doubts, any questions you guys have it here?
Yes, participants, you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box.
I'm going to look at your chat box now. Okay.
I think they're typing. We'll give
Okay,
just 1 minute.
sure, sir. So the reason why I don't wait for a long time is, other people will lose the, focus.
Correct.
So that's why I always, try to maintain this pace in any of the, webinar. Okay, guys. The idea would be get the idea right. Yeah. Okay. The last topic which I wanted to tell you was, hypothesis testing. I kept this for last, because of the time constraint. I'll talk about hypothesis testing, not an example, but how we use it in the industry, right? In the research methodology, right? The hypothesis testing is the very key, right? Hypothesis testing. Can you tell me what is this hypothesis testing? I'm sure you guys would have studied in 2 semesters. In the first semester in statistics, again third semester in research methodology. What is that we're trying to do with this hypothesis testing? What is this hypothesis testing? Or why do we need that? The finance guide should be able to answer. Even the both marketing and finance guys should be able to answer. Jyoti HM said may or may not. Okay. Can you be please more specific, Jyoti? I can wait for a minute. Rasmi MR to take a decision. Guys, so please complete the sentence. It's okay if you take another 10 to 15 seconds of time, but I want you guys to give me the complete an answer. Yeah, right. So the guy who scored well in the statistics and you know research methodology should be able to answer. It's done based on a sample data collected from large population. Hypothesis is nothing but to take a clear decision, so it may or may not be. Give me an example, guys. If you tell me an example, the context, the real time context, I think that's helpful. Give me application, okay? Test result of survey, get a meaningful result. Okay, cool. So thank you guys for responding. So most of you are already there. Hypothesis testing is used to determine whether there is enough statistical evidence in the favor of certain belief. And I really like this answer. The Fatima, good, very good, Fatima. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, I'll start with marketing, then we'll go into finance. Just an example, guys. Okay, I don't have any data to say that. So you guys know Maggi, right? I think Maggi is Nestle product. So what happened with Maggi a couple of years back? When we say Maggi, what is that will strike in your mind? Good, Daripriya. Yeah, we can also talk about that. Okay. Exactly. Well said, Benson. Lead content was more than the prepared limit, right? Good. You know what happened? The impact. So the Nestle, right? The Maggi is a Nestle product, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So their market share was down by 16%. Even I don't think even they picked it up, right? We're saying that I think it was I don't know 1.6 or 16%, which I don't remember the number. The lead content was very high, right? Now, here is the example of hypothesis testing. How do we use hypothesis testing? Now, what is the next step, right? So they need to scrap all their product. Their market value went down. Or before that, doing that, I think FACC, we have that, Food Association Authority in India. I think FACCI. So they need to go back and do a, audit or an investigation just to ensure that, right? Whether really the lead content is high or low, right? How do you do that, right? Okay, so what we do, guys, I'll not take more than 5 minutes of your time. Okay, so I have my null hypothesis, right? I'm saying the lead content is less, and my alternative hypothesis is, I would say yes. Okay, it's a null hypothesis. It's actually more, right? So what we want to do is we always try to reject a null hypothesis. It can be other way around also, but depending on the context. What people will do here is, guys, our the Food Association Authority. What they do, they will go back, they'll pick up the sample from the Maggi, they'll start doing that, right? What they do, they'll pick up a sample, I would say, let's say 100 of quantity, right? But Maggi, sample, and my population would be, let's say, they would have packed almost, let's say 10,000 for now, 10,000 quantity, right? So they'll pick up a sample, they'll do a study, right? Okay, so based on the study, they'll get a result, something called p-value, right? Which is your conclusion, right? So if they prove that, okay, if they prove that the lead content is more, what they do, which means they'll have to scrap it, right? They'll have to scrap it. If the lead content is less, it's good to go, right? So this is the one classical case where we use a hypothesis testing in the research methodology, right? Now, one more interesting point here is Maggi, they're having almost 10,000 quantity stocks in their warehouse in the factory, but am I testing all 10,000? Practically not, right? What I only do a testing of sample which is 100. From this sample, I'm going to generalizing it to a population to take the decision, right? Are you with me, guys? So this is what why we cannot study the population, or we cannot collect. It's not practically, it's not possible. So this is where your statistics will help you, guys. So what we do in statistics in simple or in the analytics, we pick up a sample, we do our analysis, then we generalize it to a population, which means my population will have the same property of a sample, right? I hope you guys understood that. Yeah. So this is the one case where we do an hypothesis testing. And second case would be, as I already told you, which is credit card defaulter or a credit risk model, right? To approve a loan or not to approve, right? So we also do a, which means what I will say, let's take up Vijay Mallya, okay? Okay, I know I am spoiling Vijay Mallya's name here, but that's the reality. Yeah. That's the reality. So we have Vijay Mallya. I'm saying Vijay Mallya is a defaulter, right? There is a not defaulter. Not. So this is my alternative hypothesis. This is my null hypothesis. What we do here, I assume that Vijay Mallya is no, sorry, not defaulter. Basically, it's a not defaulter. Sorry guys, this is what it is. It's a defaulter. So we assume that it's a not defaulter. Then we start to collect the evidence to reject my null hypothesis. Then we prove it is a defaulter. So one more case would be our court, right? Court, for example, the Salman Khan cases, right? So everyone knows that I think he made some accident, right, where people died on the road. It's a media news, right? Initially, what we do, Salman Khan is innocent, right? But we want to prove that he is not. So what we need is to do that. We need evidence, right? What we do, we need an evidence. We start to collect the evidence, then we try to reject the null hypothesis. So this is some of the high-level application where we do a hypothesis testing, especially the research methodology. Okay. Outside of that, when it comes to a data analytics context, we do it at a variable level, right? Whether the variable is significant or not.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Following this, we have one more session, sir. So if you could conclude in.
Yeah, exactly, madam. I'm going to conclude now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Guys, with this, I covered what I intended to cover, right? You guys can reach out to me. I mentioned my email ID and the phone number at last. Okay, you guys, one of you guys can collect all your queries and email it to me, or you can pass it out to either Afzal sir or Shiv Shankar sir. I can definitely revert back to you. And you can also share your feedback. What was the what went well, what could have been better. So when I do next my webinar, I can definitely pick it up. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, and thanks again to the entire Indian Academic College, for inviting me to do this workshop. I hope you guys had a good time. We'll stay connected. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. As you requested, we are sharing a feedback link with the students. So we will surely share the feedback with you as well.
Guys,
Thank you. Yes,
one
sir?
small request from my side. I have a lot of compliance issue from the organization. Honestly, I accepted this request because of Shiv Shankar sir. I'm just sharing with you. I'm actually
Yeah,
not supposed to do
thank you so much. Thanks a lot,
anything
sir.
outside. So don't share this profile, the one pager what you prepared. Don't share it with outside, and also don't quote
No,
outside
this
with
is
my name.
used exclusively for academic purpose, so you need not worry.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
madam.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
the interactive session that you made and the practical Excel sheets that you showed, there is so much to explore with Excel, so much to learn. So thank you so much, sir, for kindly consenting to be the resource person for this webinar, for your time, your efforts, and the knowledge that you have shared. Thank you very much for your presence. And we are also grateful to the
Thank you,
management.
madam.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Grateful to the
Cool.
management of Indian
All the best, guys.
Academy. Yeah, so you have shared your mobile number, so I'm sure if the students have any queries or doubts, they would be mailing you or calling you in person. Thank you so much for sharing your details.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, we are also thankful to the management of Indian Academy Group of Institutions, our chairman, sir, for supporting us for all our endeavors, director, sir, Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathy, for extending his guidance, the entire faculty team, and each and every one of the participants who have registered for this program. Kindly fill in the feedback form so that you can generate your e-certificates. Once again, sir, we are obliged. Thank you so very much. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, madam. All the best.
Thank you so
Thank,
much. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Kumar. Very nice session.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. We'll keep talking.
Yes.